Welcome to the junior segment of Advocates, the podcast. Today, we have with us Lim Wei Jiet. Wei Jiet, welcome. As you know, the format is we've got 7 minutes and a bunch of questions for you. So we could start the timer now.
Sure.
Okay, Wei Jiet, why did you choose advocacy? Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's just something incredibly alluring about standing up in court, trying to persuade a judge, having that dynamic intellectual exchange. I don't think you can ever replace that kind of experience. Of course, winning is the cherry on the cake, but even if you lose and you have a good hearing and you walk out of the courtroom feeling satisfied, I mean, that makes my day, and that's why I love advocacy. The second reason being, when I do public interest in human rights matters, being an advocate is a vehicle to, channel the grievances of the marginalized communities and the oppressed. And I think that many people forget that being an advocate is also an avatar for those people who cannot speak up in court. And so in that sense, you are a voice to the voiceless. I think we have to remember that also.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, Wei Jiet, what was the best lesson you have learned from someone who was leading you in a case?
The importance of packaging your arguments in a very simple and impactful manner. Simple meaning that, you need to strip the very complex case that you have to its very core elements, and the judge will not be able to have the time to digest your fifth or your sixth argument. So you really need to just rely on one or two matters and arguments which really will touch their hearts and minds. And I think that's a very, very tricky thing to master, and something that I'm still learning. And when I say impactful, I mean an argument which resonates with the judge. It doesn't mean that it's the most legally, technically plausible answer, but something that can move the judge to decide in your favor. I think that's a very difficult skill to master, and hopefully I'm able to achieve it one day.
So you mean the human element of arguments? All right. Wow. And okay, so if someone who's leading you asked you, how can I teach you better? How can I help you grow? What would you say?
Let me do more trials and hearings. No substitute for standing up on your own feet and arguing the case, making the mistakes, being humiliated, being scolded, being embarrassed. Ideally, the senior advocate is beside you to guide you and to do a post-mortem of thoughts with you. I think that's the best thing a senior advocate can accord to a young advocate.
Wow. So on that note, who is the advocate you've learned the most from during your practice?
I wish I could name all my bosses, but if I have to name one, it will be Messrs Sreenevasan. I believe who was a guest in
yes.
So she was my master when I was a pupil, and she's still my boss now. And I've learned so much from her, not just her skills as an advocate. I mean, she's phenomenal, but her bravery and courage to take up causes which many other lawyers would not take up. And her record in human rights and public interest matters will speak for themselves. And I'm always inspired every day to work with her.
Wow. All right. So, Wei Jiet, 10 years from now, what do you want to do?
Hopefully continue to argue cases in court. Obviously, I would like to do, bigger matters. But, you don't always have to stick to a legal career. Unfortunately or fortunately, I have a lot of distractions, like, activism and politics and everything. So I won't know, and I won't hedge my bets, but looking forward.
To the 10 years, yes, we are too. Okay. Wei Jiet, so on your feet, do you prefer trials or interlocutories, and why?
Trials, because I like to catch people when they are lying, or to catch people out when they have, walked into some sort of a trap that you have very methodically planned ahead. I mean, that kind of feeling of, being able to catch someone in those kind of circumstances that you have designed for it to happen, I think that's priceless. I might sound very sinister, but I mean, that's something that I enjoy.
Okay, Wei Jiet. So for the people behind you on the road, the younger lawyers, can you give them 3 pieces of advice?
Okay, 3. Number 1, always be proactive. This means volunteering yourself to, cross-examine that minor witness or to take up a minor argument to support the lead counsel in court, or volunteering yourself to do the first draft of the submissions. I mean, those things will make you learn a lot along the way. Number 2, try to make as many friends at the junior bar. I think it's very important because these people are going to be your compatriots, your support system, your future partners when you want to set up a law firm. They could be judges one day. So it's very good to maintain that connection. And number 3, it gets a little bit more easier and enjoyable when you enter the 4th or 5th year of practice. So hang in there. I know many people are facing a lot of anxiety and uncertainty in their early years of practice, but trust me, your hard work will not be in vain, and you realize how enjoyable advocacy is when you hit the 4th or 5th year.
I think that's really good to know. But okay, so then the next question is, what is the worst thing about being at the junior bar?
Doing the grunt work, photocopying, the translating the affidavits, making sure the exhibits are in order. I mean, I know I have to earn my stripes, and those are things that I have to go through. But sometimes you just pray that you go through the next phase of your career, and hopefully the junior can help you on all of that.
So, what makes you get to work every day?
I guess the opportunity to construct a solution or an argument, and then feeling good about it. I think that's what drives me to work every day. Yeah.
Okay, and if you could name one thing you'd like to change about legal practice?
I hope that, and this applies to Malaysia, I hope that more lawyers dedicate their time and energy to do more pro bono cases, especially the large law firms. I think there's a history of them being on the safe side and not wanting to deal with cases which go against the public authorities. But I think that times are changing, and we should be able to not be intimidated to take on cases against the government. I think many people need that opportunity, and one lawyer to represent them.
Thanks, Wei Jiet. Okay, our time is up, and thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
This was really fun.